She turned herself into authorities at that minimum security prison about 150 kilometers northwest of Houston, Texas. Now, it comes a year after she was actually convicted of fraud and conspiracy for that major, for what's been nicknamed the blood hoax, also known as the company called Theranos. And it all really began 10 years ago. Her and her associate, which then turned out to be her lover as well, Sunny Balwani, they worked at a company called Theranos. And about 10 years ago, they announced this major revolution, something that would revolutionize both the healthcare industry and the tech industry, a system that would allow them to analyze, detect several diseases and other medical issues with just a couple of drops of blood. Drawn using just a simple finger prick, much like someone with diabetes would use to measure their blood sugar level. And of course, the buzz was huge, and there were hundreds of investors who really wanted to be a part of this next big thing in the Silicon Valley, in the tech world, in the healthcare world. And so the after this announcement was made, Theranos actually collected about $1 billion in funds. As you mentioned, by the end of 2014, Elizabeth Holmes herself was valued at $4.5 billion. And of course, it was all fake. The Wall Street Journal published a series of explosive articles claiming that it was that none of this has been tested, none of this had been peer reviewed, which is very important in the health and science world, and it was all true, of course. And the company collapsed, and it was another clear example of just the egregious fake it till you make it behavior that was so prevalent in Silicon Valley at the time. The U.S. Department of Justice actually charged both Elizabeth Holmes and Sunny Balwani on several counts of conspiracy and fraud. They really wanted to make this a landmark case to try to stop that attitude that situation rather from happening again. They wanted to really stop startups from overselling capabilities of a technology that was still being developed. Balwani was also convicted. He was sentenced to 13 years in prison, rather, just about a year ago. Holmes is planning to appeal. She had sought to remain free while she was appealing her sentence, but as you mentioned, a district judge denied that request, and she turned herself into a minimum security prison this morning in Texas.